so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So there's so much I want to talk to you about because I am a fellow student and appreciator of great comedy. And I kid you not, Dave, with all the noise, all the static that is out on social media, you have busted through. And I'm not, this is a false flattery. I mean, having you here is huge for me because you're freaking hilarious. But here's the thing, Sue, just to kind of tee this up. Absolutely, brother. So just to tee this up, here's what else I also see. I see a few layers into this because I look back in the archives of kind of where Semi Stupid started and the videos that are still out there, and just use a content creator, as an actor, as someone who is freaking funny, as an entrepreneur. And, you know, I think what you've done so well is used your gift and your talent for humor to you've leveraged that to, you know, monetize it on social media. And so there's just so many things that you seem to have done well. And so I want to get to just the pure talent portion and how you decide some of the videos you do and some of that stuff. But let's just start out with, how did it all start? Are you from the West Coast originally? And then did you always know you wanted to be an entertainer? Were you the class clown? I mean, where does this story begin?
Okay, so yeah, originally born in Fullerton, California. Lived in Chino for like the first 9 years of my life, and then lived most of my life in Idaho. So we moved up to Idaho when I was 9.
Okay.
Came back to, I'm in San Diego now, just got here end of February. But anyways, how it all started. So yeah, when I was younger, I was always kind of a goofball. We have so many home videos when I was younger. You remember those big ass VHS recorders that you threw up on your shoulder?
Absolutely.
So my parents had one of those, and I used that for everything, making home movies, just stupid ass fucking videos, like doing fake news reports, like doing all this dumb shit. And then like did some stuff in high school, just kind of buddies fucking around, like jackass type stuff, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But after high school, I mean, it kind of just like, I never thought of, because we didn't have YouTube. YouTube came around and it wasn't like really popular until later. Yeah. And I never even crossed my mind to like pursue anything in acting, pursue anything in doing what I'm doing now. So went to college, graduated college, degree in accounting of all things. I don't even know how I passed, but and then got some jobs here and there, just, nothing worked out. I mean, I knew deep down, I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. Like, none of this is me. I never felt like, no matter what job I had, I just was like, I felt like a fraud. Like, I'm like, this is not me, Yep. And eventually it got, I had a job in Columbia, Missouri. I took a job there working for a marketing ad network. And met this kid, Tony. We kind of hit it off. And we were those type of people that we just easily, like, the conversations that we had would just flow into just random bullshit. And people, when we'd hang out, people were like, dude, you guys need to start a YouTube channel. You guys are ridiculous. And then it was his idea. He like took me to lunch and was like, hey, I really want to talk to you about something. And it was that he wants to start a YouTube channel. And so I was like, cool, let's do it. But I was like, if we do this, I want to go full at it, like I want to make we're going to be consistently putting out videos. I want us to meet, we're going to be doing all this. Like I want to make it legit. And so we agreed. And then, it took us first thing we had to do, come up with a name. And so we literally sat in a library for probably 3 days, every day, just hours, writing random, names, going through all the books, just looking at titles and trying to like, maybe something will spark an idea, and I don't know how exactly we came up with it. I just remember it was almost like we had semi with something, and then like it just kind of clicked, because we had come up with like 2 or 3 names before that, but they were taken. And it just, when we realized it, like Semi Stupid, we're like, that's it. That's the one. It's like, it was like both of us just instant, like, that's it. That's fucking it. And we're like, dude, it's taken. We know it. I know it's taken. and nothing was taken, nothing at all, no YouTube channel, nothing. And we're like, there it is, it's semi-stupid. And so once we got the name, then we had to get all the equipment and stuff. And this all started probably in November, and we didn't put out our first video until February 5th because we
What
were
year?
trying to get everything in order. Like we wanted to get some skits. We filmed like 5 skits before we even put out our first video because we wanted to have like a little back order. That way we could be consistent with it.
Yep.
Yeah, and then funny story, the first video we wanted it to pop because we wanted to get people in. So if you go back to my, and just so you know, just if you go to my YouTube channel, I privated probably 100 videos.
Really?
Because they demonetized me. So I had a shit ton more videos than you see there on my YouTube channel.
What was the rub? What was the rub with the YouTube gods?
Well, we basically did whatever we wanted.
Got it.
Like, like we didn't care. When I went into it, so I was like, I don't give a fuck who we offend. I don't care if, you can't say, well, my mom's going to see. I don't give a shit. We're putting it out. So that's kind of the mentality we had.
Yep.
And YouTube let it slide for a while, like, because I feel like they got more strict over the years, and totally demonetized me. So I was like, well, fuck it. They didn't get many views anyway, so I'm like, I'll go back and just private them all. But anyways, back to the first video. Wanted to make things pop, so I reenacted, and that one's still up there. I reenacted the scene from Magic Mike where he goes into the gas station. So we did that in real life. I practiced the dance moves for like a week, like every day. And I didn't even get maybe a quarter of the way through it. And they started yelling at me and kicked us out and called the cops. And the cops came to our house, and they thought it was funny, but then they said we're banned from life from the gas station. So that's how it got started with YouTube. And basically this didn't pop till last year. So I've been just making videos for probably 5 years. No, not probably 5 years. Basically failing for 5 years. So nothing ever popped. One video did on YouTube, but it was I got a weird crowd from it, like a weird sex crowd from India. It was very strange. But anyways, that video got taken down anyway. But but nothing ever happened, but I just always knew I knew something was gonna eventually happen. I just had this feeling, and like, how you kind of find what you're good at maybe, or what your talent is if people keep telling you, something about you that is good, like maybe you're funny or naturally can do things. And so I just decided to run with it and believe in it. And eventually last year, just finally I decided to get on TikTok. Well, let's backtrack. I had a TikTok before this one for about 1.5 years. Nothing ever happened. And I wasn't doing this kind of content. But then I moved to Portugal, and I was switching SIM cards so much that I don't know what happened with TikTok, but they must have thought something was up with my account where I would post videos and I would get 0 views, 0 to 1 views. And like that happened for 2 months. And like, I'm like, this is pointless. So I just quit TikTok, came back to the States, was like not going to do TikTok. I'm like, fuck TikTok, right. They suck, and I'm like, my friend kept telling me, you need to get on TikTok. And I'm like, well, I'll try it again. I guess I'll just delete that account and I'll just start a fresh one. And then I started the fresh one, and then immediately got, like 500 views, something very small. But I was like, okay, so it was my account.
Right.
And then just trying to figure out the content, and it happened maybe like a month or 2 in. I went back. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try that movie content again. Because I tried that on like Instagram.
Yeah.
And it was like, whatever. Nothing really happened. And I was like, oh, I'm going to repost one of my old Chuck Norris ones. And I did it, and it blew up. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do just Chuck Norris videos.
Yeah.
And so I just started doing Chuck Norris. But then everybody started requesting other action star, like Steven Seagal, Van Damme, Arnold. So I started doing those. So I was like, I'm just gonna do those guys, and it started taking off, and then I just obviously just branched out into any movie, and then it just started to blow up. And as soon as I reached like 20,000 followers, I knew it was gonna work. So I quit my I was a videographer where I would just make videos for local businesses. I
Mhm.
just completely quit that and focused on this full time.
Wow. And
I
now
said,
you're,
no, I know it's going to happen. And I couldn't, I wouldn't be able to put in the work to put out a video a day if I was doing something else, you know?
yeah.
So I made the decision to just, yeah, do it full time.
Dude, there's so much wisdom in that story. I don't even know if you realize it, but there's like okay, so my show, the motto is improve always and always. And I mean, you said so many things there. Like one, it took you 5 years of experimentation. I mean, and where you started and where you are now from, and you said like 20,000 followers. I think I looked before we came on, you're like 1.5 million followers on TikTok. Your videos are, I mean, you are now in that realm of a celebrity amongst that social media category, which is kind of the way I started, is that to be able to stand out in that crowded field, dude, the market has spoken. That's what's so awesome about your story. And then what you just said there, to have the guts to go all in like that. There's so many people that will listen to this. And that's why I wanted you on, one, because yes, I'm one of you, I've got to be one of your biggest fans. I just love the content. You make me laugh. Okay. You do.
Thanks, bro.
But there's more to it than that. What I dug a little deeper just from the mental aspect of, you don't just do this. You don't just all of a sudden go, oh, look, I'm funny. Hey, I got an idea. Let's do some cameos and throw them on TikTok. I mean, you do put the time in. And so for those of us who are content creators, I mean, I have this regular podcast, which, by the way, I went through a lot of the things that you went through to get to this place, which
Yeah.
is, doing a lot of crap that you think you're supposed to do because society, your parents, others, they say, oh, you should be an accountant. You should be a business guy. You look like that. You're good at that. That's what you went to school for. But deep down, you're going, no, I like to communicate. I like to make relationships. I like to hear stories. And so that's what brought me here. And then to see what you're doing now, it's so cool. I want to know, how hard was it though? Because you said something when you were starting early with Tony that
Hmm.
surprised me. I've wanted my daughters, I've tried to explain to them the amazing times in which we live, to where, like, okay, I graduated undergrad in 97 with a broadcast, not a broadcast journalism degree, because I thought I'll never get on the news. So it's just a journalism degree. But I
Hmm.
never even tried, because back then, to get on TV, you had to go to like some podunk town and maybe get on the radio station and then the local
Right.
network,
Right.
try to climb your web and never make any money. And then hopefully end up in a market like Dallas, and then one day, or LA, and then maybe, just maybe, get to New York. And it probably wasn't going to happen. Now you can just do this end around and go directly to the market. And so I've tried to get them to just at least bear in mind and look at what you've done. I mean, you're pursuing a passion, and just when the fact that you had the insight to go, I'm going all in, I'm going to do this right. Where did that come from? I mean, what was it? And were you ever nervous? Because it seems like you didn't really care so much about, which I think is what holds so many people back, especially content creators, is that, well, what if no one likes it? I mean, were you just having enough fun and just believed it enough of just like, who cares? It's fun. I'm going to do it. And that's what pulled you through. What was it mentally?
Well, first you got to get through that, where you don't care. And that took time for me in the beginning, I think it's something where you have to develop that like leather skin of like, you know what, people might not like this, but you can't let that affect you
Mhm.
or putting out content, because I mean, that's just going to make you better. Because every time I put out a piece of content, even now, I'm like, yeah, that wasn't that great, but now I know I got to get better on the next one. And so that's how I always look at it now. Um, but the thing that pushed me at the moment was, this was such a rare opportunity, and I didn't know when, because you know how platforms are, like you never know when it's going to stop.
Sure.
What if the organic growth just stopped in 4 or 5 months and I missed my window?
Mhm.
And so it was one of those things where I just had this feeling of how fast it grew to 20,000, and like looking at the comments and reacting and seeing how people were reacting to my videos, and realizing like I had like so much content to work with movies. So it's like, I'm not going to run out of ideas. You know, it's not one of those things where you put out a one video that randomly goes viral, but then you can't recreate it because it was just so, you were so lucky.
Mhm.
You know, it's like those one-off videos where you're like, well, now what are you going to do though
Yep.
after that video? So I knew I had something, especially with, you know, all the people requesting like, do this, do Tom Cruise, do whatever. I was like, dude, I know this is going to work. I know it. I know it. And the more videos I put out, the more I'll grow. And I just was like, it just makes sense. It was like, and I don't want to look back and be like, shit, I should have just fucking said, fuck it, and went in, you know, because like, who knows if I would have just done one video a week
Mhm.
or two videos a week, who knows if I would be here right now.
Right.
Because I mean, that would have been how many videos I wouldn't have put out. And maybe some of the ones that really popped wouldn't have even been out there right now.
Yeah.
And I'd be sitting at, you know, 40,000 followers right now instead of 1.5.
Right. Right.
So
Again, there's so much wisdom in that because, you know, a lot of people will hear that. And let me ask you this. Do you just, is there really anything that rivals just being able to create something? I don't think people create enough. I don't think that human beings out there, they're so miserable and they're chasing all this crap, you know, the material stuff. And again, I say this a lot on this podcast, you know, material things are fine, you know, but is there anything really that rivals whenever you go through all the neurochemicals that it takes to kind of get through the resistance and get the green screen right and then you get the angles right and then you pop up, and that for you, man, it's such a short little video, but yet you go, damn, I created that. That's awesome. Is there anything that rivals that feeling? And isn't that just an amazing thing?
um I think I get the better feeling for me is not only the creation part of it and seeing it put out there and being proud of it, you know, and being like, you know, I can create this.
Mhm.
Because from where I started, like, you have no idea from when I started how long it would take me to create what I'm creating now.
Yeah.
Just editing in itself is ridiculously hard.
Oh, I can.
It's simple once you get the hang of it, but like, just the simple fact of like when you're first starting out with Adobe, like, how do I increase the volume? How do I take some of the noise out? How do I, just little tiny things, how do I cut the scene?
Yep.
So you have to keep watching these instructional videos over and over again and freaking learning how to do green screen, just every little thing,
Yeah.
how to overlap sounds and audio and like all this shit. So now it's like, it's super easy to edit videos like nothing, but I get more joy out of like when people send me little comments of like, oh man, you have no idea, like I've been going through a lot in COVID, like been super depressed, and that your videos have been getting me through. Like, that feels good.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best feeling ever. Like when people tell me like I bring them happiness and they're, you know, in times where they're not happy,
Mhm.
or I'm getting them through their workday because they're miserable and they just watch some of my videos and it brings them up. Like, that's like crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that feels the best, you know. That's absolutely amazing. Um, you know, you get to a point wherever you're working, like, you know, I'm ready to like kind of try to expand what I'm doing. Like, I've been doing this for so long
Mhm.
that I don't get the excitement anymore from creating one of these videos. You know what I mean? I've
Yep.
reached that moment.
Yep.
Um, I still love to do it because I love that people love them so much. And um, some of them I'm actually like, okay, this one's fucking good. I love this one, you know?
Yeah.
But a lot of them are just kind of like, it's like through the motions.
Mhm.
I treat this kind of like a job, you know? It's like, you're not going to always be happy at your job.
Yep.
You're not always going to love it every single day, but you have to do it.
All right.
And there's nothing else I'd rather do. You know, I have days where I'm like frustrated because I can't think of anything, and I'm like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
But I have to put a video out. So I make it happen. Um, and where was I going with this? Oh
Well,
yeah,
that's
anyways, yeah, so I'm ready to like, so I'm trying to get in the a thing now where I want to start making more like short films, like stuff like that. I want to start writing like my own stuff, like movies wise. I would love to get a bunch of creators together and like make movies and stuff
yeah.
like that. And like, I'm going to start putting out different content just to be different. Like I'm going to start this new Bob Ross thing where I'm going to be like, I'm going to do what he did,
Huh?
I'm gonna ordering everything like the paint thing, the blah, blah, blah. I'm going to have the paint thing, and I'm going to do basically exactly what he did, except, my way, like, let's just go ahead and put a little dog over here taking a shit. Yeah. Just right there, stuff like that, just random shit. And then after, the painting will be horrible. And then I'm going to auction them off.
Awesome.
So like, I'm going to start doing more content because like after doing these types of videos for over a year now, every single day, and I'm sure you can attest to this with anything, stuff that you've been doing for that long, you kind of get, you want to grow, you want to do something different, you want to do something that challenges you a little more.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I am now. But don't get me wrong, I still love doing this, and like I just want to do it in a way where, say I put out movie content 3 days a week, and then the other content is different content the rest of the week. So
Right.
just a good mix would be nice. But yeah, I love it. I love it's the best when, yeah, like I said, when people say it just makes them happy when they're depressed or they're feeling sad, they watch one of my videos. Like that's the best feeling ever.
Well, and okay, so now let me ask you this. So somebody's going to do this, I think. There's a few of you out there that are truly, I mean, there's different, I guess, niches for TikTok and just the folks that have really blown up. But there's several of you guys that I follow that because you're freaking funny. Have you thought about doing some sort of a variety show or a sketch comedy show or something like that? Because dude, you're good looking, you're articulate, your deadpan delivery and sarcasm is made for that sort of, like, you could host something and because you're quick, obviously, because if you're that prolific that you've come up with these different ideas, even though there's an existing movie, it's you that's talking about, if you touch my nipple, I'm going to kill your cat again. That's just that was not in Mission Impossible or
Jerry
what?
Maguire.
Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire.
That's right. It was Jerry Maguire. Yeah, dude. I know. Go home to your wife. That's
Yeah.
right. God, that was so
Go to her house, dude.
her house. So I mean, that to me, I don't know. I can't. I personally, I don't want to sit here and try to say, well, Dave, here's what I would do. What I would love to see you do. That'd be lame because you've got this, but I just can't wait to see what you come up with next because it is so funny. And like, so now because you got the semi-stupid shop and stuff. So did this start as just kind of like, you love to entertain, you love to be funny, you like creating content. And so that happened. And then, oh, well, we've got a lot of eyeballs. We've got an audience, kind of like the Kevin Kelly thing, 1,000 true fans, which you have way more than that. Now I can leverage this so that I can make this a vocation. Is that kind of the order of it that it went? Or how did that look for the entrepreneur out there? Because you do obviously have an entrepreneurial spirit as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So I started the semi-stupid merch line actually earlier before this took off, just seeing how it would do
Mhm.
with the small audience that I did have, and realized, okay, this isn't a viable option. So that stopped real fast, but it wasn't hard to start. It's a drop shipping. So it's not like it's going to do anything to me. It's not going to break the bank. There's no overhead. It's just starting a website. So then I didn't come back to it. Yeah. Until I started to take off on TikTok, and then decided to actually like make my logo a little different and put a
Which
little
is
more thought into it,
fantastic,
but make it
by the way.
very
It's
simple.
fantastic. I love your freaking logo.
Oh,
I think
thanks, man.
it's badass. It reminds me of the old school Stuckies. I don't know if you remember those. There was out here in Texas, and I don't know if they were national, but there was this old. When I was growing up, these kind of like roadside stops. They were like, it's
Uh-huh.
the retro look of it. It's just, it's hard. It's harder than people realize to have a logo that this is cool enough. And for the people that aren't watching this on YouTube, if you're just listening to this, I'm wearing a semi-stupid hat right now. And the logo is so cool that it could almost say like semi Dave. I don't care. It's just cool. It just is a great
Yeah.
logo. So anyway,
Well,
sorry.
thanks, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like I just wanted to make it very simple, very, very simple logo. A big inspiration of how the logo came out was like, I really like Brixton. Brixton has very simple logos. So if you look at Brixton, this logo is kind of similar in a way. And that's kind of how I based on how I wanted to design it. And the font, that was just kind of by accident. I had a different font for my semi-stupid YouTube channel for the longest time. I think it was called Saturday Night Fever. I think that was the font name. And I didn't like the way it looked on a hat or clothing or whatever. And I just kept looking for, but I wanted it to be kind of like cursive, like it is there. And I just kept searching for font for like days and days, and then came across this one, and I'm like, oh, this one's pretty cool. I don't even know what font that is. I couldn't even find it for you.
Really?
Because I don't know where I found it. I don't know. I would have to just have somebody recreate the font for me. But yeah, and then I found it, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then the EST, I was like, I always liked how that people did that, since it was started. And that's when we put out our first video in 2016. And then the little logo, or the little thing that it's over, that's from Canva. I don't know if you use Canva at all. They have all these designs. I like that. I wanted it to be a different shape, but that was the only one they had that was close enough to it. I'm like, this is cool. And I put it together, and I'm like, oh, it's actually pretty legit. And it's pretty simple. But yeah.
It's awesome. It's my favorite hat. I love it, dude. Absolutely love it. So, all right. So let's just have some fun. Let's riff on. All right. What makes you funny? What movies do you like? Let's talk about the ones that and let me ask you this. All right. So whenever you put a cameo together, are you going through kind of like your mental catalog of movies that you just like, or ones that you like, they're so bad? Like the whole Fast and Furious series, dude, that you did was so amazing. So is it like, or is it just random? So I want to get to that, but just like, if you're just going to chill out tonight, and watch a movie, what are you going to watch? What do you enjoy?
My favorite, so surprisingly, comedy is not my favorite movie genre.
What is it like?
Sci-fi. I love sci-fi. I love horror.
Yeah. But you've done some horror shorts, right? Didn't I see some stuff out there?
Not a lot, but I have done some. Yeah. I like, I think sci-fi is by far my favorite.
Really?
And you could throw some comedy into like either of those, like a sci-fi comedy, or like a horror comedy, kind of like Shaun of the Dead. Like that's pretty fucking cool. That I love that movie.
Yep.
But yeah, I still like comedies. there hasn't been one in a while that I've actually liked or thought was funny. It's been a little bit. But I like all types of movies, really. I love action. I like, drama's probably the one I least like.
Yeah.
If the movie's too serious, I don't watch it. I don't watch serious movies.
Yeah.
Like they don't interest me. I'm like, this is depressing. Like, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
So my movies tend to be more either like action packed, upbeat, or I like true story. If it's a true story, it's cool. Yeah. As long as it's not sad and depressing, then I'm like, I don't want to watch that. But
right.
Yeah. But yeah. So let's see, if I had the last movie I watched. What did I watch? I just watched one too. Well, yesterday I watched one that I haven't seen in a while, which is a great movie, and I'm not sure if you've seen it. If you haven't, definitely watch it. Mr. Brooks. Did you ever see that?
That's the one with Kevin Costner, right?
Yes.
No, never
Such
saw
a good
it.
movie.
Never saw it.
Never saw it, dude.
Really? He's like a psychopath or something, right?
He's a normal dude. He's like a successful businessman, runs a company. He's a normal guy, like big in the community. He's got a sickness, and his sickness is he's a serial killer. But he's good. He's very good at it. He's careful. He gets away with it. And but he knows he's sick. And but he's just a normal dude.
Okay.
Really good movie. So shit like that. I love shit like that, like thrillers.
Same here. That's my jam. I will totally check that for sure. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thrillers are really cool. But yeah, I don't know if is there any other, I'm trying to think of any movies that are out right now.
I didn't know they still made them. To be honest with you. I mean, I'm so stuck in what's already been done. Like, what about the new James Bond movie? Would you go see that?
I've never really been huge into James Bond, and I would watch it at home, but like if I go to the theater, it has to be something I really want to see.
Same here.
Because I ain't gonna play fucking $20 to go see just some movie.
No, same here. Same here. I can't sit still that long.
Yeah, like me and my girlfriend are gonna go see the new Resident Evil. I love Resident Evil,
Okay.
so I'll go see that. That looks like it could be interesting.
Okay. All
Any
right.
Marvel movie, I'll go to the theater.
Okay. Okay.
Love Marvel. I'll probably go see Batman.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, really, and anything with a twist, anything that's kind of how M. Night Shyamalan does it, where it's like you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. I love movies like that.
What about
Those are probably my favorite. Is when you're like, what is the twist gonna be, and then at the end you're like, what?
all right?
Those are my favorite movies.
I've got one for you that surely you've seen, and if not, then here I will see your Mr. Brooks, and I will raise you a Primal Fear with
Oh, of
Richard.
course.
God,
Yeah. That was one of the best twists.
dude, that one. So my wife, whenever I introduced her to movies, she was not a movie watcher at all. Like when we first went out, I was like, "So what music do you like?" I don't really listen to music. I'm like, oh God, music's very important to me. What movies do you watch? Yeah, I don't really watch movies. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I got to introduce her to all these cool movies,
Yeah.
and so Primal Fear was one of the early ones, and Edward Norton was just so amazing in that entire film. And then at the end, you're like, what? So yeah,
Yeah.
what about reading?
That ending was probably just as good, like that twist, as Usual Suspects.
Oh,
Remember?
oh God, yes. So
Yeah.
amazing. And the thing about Usual Suspects, okay, the way they reveal it whenever Verbal starts just walking normal. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
genius. That to me
Yeah.
is awesome direction where it's like not something he said. It's just this little subtle change in his physicality that you're like, what? And then you're like,
Yeah.
wow. No, that was so great. So
That was crazy. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm
So
the same way. I like the I don't like just in your face, very obvious. I'm not an action movie guy anymore. Like when I was a kid, I like some action movies. I like the stuff that really makes you think and you have to follow along with it, and then
yeah.
and I don't mind being disappointed by the ending. And for example, No Country for Old Men, which if you've read Cormac McCarthy, that's kind of his thing. He's not going to let the movie or the story end the way you want it to. It's not
Right.
probably have the happy ending. And so, and again, just a little subtle things like the end of No Country for Old Men, whenever Javier Bardem comes out, just kind of wipes his boot off. You're like, oh gosh. And then it's
Yeah.
like, so exactly. So that's good stuff. What about reading? What about books? What do you read a lot?
I do actually. I read every morning. It's part of my
Same.
morning routine. Yep.
Talk to me. Tell me what
Yep.
you're filling your head with.
So right now I'm reading The Richest Man in Babylon.
On my shelf, that's like before Dave Ramsey, all of that. Richest Man
mhm,
in Babylon was kind of the one, right? That's
the
I
one.
need
I've
the
never read it. This is the first time. I just ordered it. I'm like halfway through. I like it. I love it how it's a short but direct, like in your face, like, just no fluff. This is it.
Yep,
It's very simple.
yep,
And I love it. It took some getting used to follow along in the beginning, because you're reading in terms of like how they spoke back then.
right,
So that was like kind of weird, but it's fine. It's normal now.
right, right.
um, but yeah, before that one, what did I read? I have them in my couch. The Art of War, or The War of Art. This one's good for anybody
Yes,
who's creative.
yes. Stephen
Um,
Pressfield, amazing.
before that one, I reread. I reread books a lot. So I reread How to Win Friends and Influence People, and then before that, I reread Think and Grow Rich,
Yep.
and then before that, I read Filmmaking for Dummies, and then I have a couple books I'm going to order as soon as I'm done with this. The Alchemist. I never read that. I heard that was good.
Yep.
And then I want to get Will Smith's new book. I'm curious to see his life and what he talks about. It's just called Will, so
Yeah.
that seems interesting. But yeah, I got my cupboard is filled with all those types of self-help books. I've read all the classics, all the ones. One of my favorite, I would say, probably either How to Win Friends and Influence People,
Mhm.
I really liked The One Thing. I don't know if you've read that one.
I have not. It's been recommended. I need to read it. Yep.
Very good. And then there was another one. They're all so good. It's so hard to just pick one, but those two stand out the most because the One Thing is kind of it hits home that you just focus on your thing.
Right.
That's all it is. The whole book. So it's nice to kind of reaffirm that feeling that what you have to do,
Yep.
but just by reading it again, you're like, yeah, I need to, how did I stop doing that? I need to start doing that again, stuff like that. That's why I like to reread all these books, because it's stuff that maybe I forgot and didn't realize I forgot.
Absolutely.
And then I read it and I'm like, yeah, I got to start doing that again. And that's why I like how to Win Friends and Influence People, because I read things where I'm like, God, I need to stop doing that in situations, or I need to start listening more, or, sometimes I do maybe criticize when I shouldn't. So I love reading books like that, where it just kind of puts me back in my place. And just because I'm always trying to grow and get better. Like every single day, I'm trying to, because I always fuck up every day, whether it's like how I handled something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, as soon as it's over, I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have said that. I should have did this, or I should have listened a little more instead of like chiming in right away and kind of interrupting the person. So it's like those things are always running through my head every day, and I'm always trying to figure out just, okay, how do I get better? And I feel like reading not only helps me do that, um, but it's just good for your brain. It's good for my soul. I feel like it's going to be good for me long term in terms of like memory and all that stuff, and just like I don't want to be dumb when I'm older. Or I don't
Right.
want to be,
Right.
I want to. So, yeah, I love it. It's became such a big habit in my life, and I absolutely, in the morning, it's like a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
after I get all my other normal morning routine stuff. Sit down and start reading, and it's like, yeah, okay, it's pure silence. Nobody's
Yeah.
awake, just me.
Yeah. And so
So,
that's really cool because I mean, like I said, the motto of the show is improve always in all ways. And so just from, and believe it or not, it's from some of your lives that I've exercised my voyeuristic nature, which I'm not a voyeur at all, but like if like someone that I like and I'm digging what they're doing, I will check out their live. And I've noticed that about you that is really cool is that as the quote unquote funny guy, I know there's a serious side to you. I know you wake up really early, and that you're trying to improve. Like the other night you were doing a live from the gym and you talked about something that I deal with also. It's really weird. I bet that whenever you go to a social setting, everyone expects you to be on because you're Dave. That's what you do. You're the funny guy. And if you're not on, then they're like, what's wrong with Dave? It's so I know that working out and having that routine, that morning reading, that quiet time, the working out, it works. It keeps my head straight. And yeah, I am the funny guy and I don't have a lot of bad days, but it's because I work at the discipline of the mental aspect of all of it.
yeah,
And another thing you said that I think is really smart that I haven't practiced that well because there's so many books I want to read that I try to read a book a week. And that's why I have a Vitruvian book review on my YouTube channel where I
hmm,
don't care if anybody looks at it, what it does, it holds me accountable. I read a book, I review it and put it on the channel. Read a book, review it. It's just kind of an accountability thing. But
that's cool.
Novel Ravikant said to do exactly what you're doing, which is his suggestion is find some really, really good books and read them over and over. So I think you're onto something there. And the ones that you've mentioned are, with the exception of the One Thing, some of those others, they're just classic, and the principles are timeless. I'll
Yeah,
tell
they're
you,
never going to change. Yeah,
no, and I'll tell you one that's. Have you read The Greatest Salesman in the World?
I have not. No.
Okay, so I
Oh, let
read.
me interrupt you real quick. That reminded me. Another one, if you haven't read it, is Dan Kennedy's Kick Ass No Bar. I don't even know. Hold on one sec. Let me
Okay,
grab it for you.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
really good book.
Okay.
Oh, I can hear you. I have my AirPods in.
Oh yeah. Okay.
um, this one's a really good. I have a lot of good ones. But it's called No BS Wealth Attraction for Entrepreneurs, the ultimate no holds barred, kick butt, take no prisoners guide to really getting rich by Dan Kennedy.
Love it.
This is a good book,
Okay.
really good, because it's like straight to the point, and I love the way he talks. Um, and it's just like no bullshit, and he doesn't care if he hurts your feelings. And I haven't read many more of his. He has a ton, but I really want to. But I like how he approaches it. But anyway, sorry. I
No.
wanted to throw that out in case you haven't read it, because you reminded me of that by saying The Greatest Salesman. It made me think of this book immediately.
Well, I've made a note of it. Not only am I going to order it when we get off here, but I'm also going to put it in the show notes. So I read The Greatest Salesman in the World when I was in college. It was one of my professor's favorite books. And he always had, it was written by Og Mandino, guy that lost everything, was actually the opening of the book. Well, it's not the opening of that book. It's the opening of one of his other books where he like was homeless, lost his family, felt was an alcoholic. And then he just became one of the most kind of like Jim Rohn, before Jim Rohn was Jim Rohn, and Tony Robbins, all that. And so I read it in college, probably didn't appreciate it that much. It's a tiny little book. It's tiny. And then in green
Wait,
lights,
are you talking? You're not talking about the little red book of sales, are you?
no. This is
Okay, because I remember that's a little book too.
no,
Okay.
this one is it's basically a fable. And Matthew McConaughey mentioned it in Green Lights that he
Mm.
read it whenever he was in college. And I thought, man, I haven't read that in years. And it's a again, it's a fable, and it's not about how to necessarily become a salesman per se. But the cool
Mhm.
thing about the book is you have to, it's okay. So there's scrolls involved, and you read the scrolls, but the deal is you have to read each scroll morning, midday, and at night before bed. You have to read them out loud, and you can't read the next scroll until you've read it for, I guess it's 30 days. You have to read each scroll for 30 days, 3 times a day.
Huh.
So yeah, and that's because what's happening is this wealthy merchant, he's getting old, and his apprentice wants to take over for him, and he's basically like, okay, if you're going to do what I do, then here's what you've got to exercise discipline. And then of course there's all these like proverbial pieces of wisdom in each scroll that are really cool. But more than anything, besides having good lessons in the book, it teaches you just the discipline. And I remember McConaughey, and this is back, okay, this is whenever he was in college. So there was no putting Kindle on your phone to do it. He said that
Right.
he would be at a party and go, oh crap, I haven't read the reading thing. He would go home, crush the reading out loud, then go back to the party until he got through The Greatest Salesman in the World the way you're supposed to. And so I went back and did that. Game changer. And so now I give, like, when I do consulting or coaching for like companies, I will give that out as a gift. And inevitably, here's the thing, Dave, I know most people, they're just not going to do it. They're not going to read it. But the ones that do, they become the badasses.
Yeah. I'm gonna put that in my Amazon cart right now.
Awesome. I think
So,
you will totally dig it. I really do.
yeah, I mean, I already sound the way you're talking about it. It sounds like I'll love it, and I'll definitely. I love doing things too, where you have to do thing. You have to be very disciplined with it.
You'll,
Like
you'll be all over it.
another thing that I've done. It took me a while. I've been trying to meditate for the longest time, right? But I
Same.
never could get consistent at it. And then I've just started to get consistent at it about 5 months ago, when I was really like, I've been getting into Sadhguru a lot, and I'm practicing Isha Kriya meditation. And so it's guided meditation by him himself. And it says, stick with this every day, either for 48 days, twice a day for 48 days, or once a day for 90 days. Like, that's the full cycle of what, I forget what he says exactly, but anyways, that helped me to like set it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to set a thing. And I've done that. And now it's like one of those habits of like brushing my teeth. Like,
Yep.
meditation is the very first thing I do as soon as I'm done brushing my teeth.
Right. Well,
But anyways, The Greatest Salesman.
in the world, Og Mandino, OG Mandino. You can probably pick it up for like $3 on Amazon.
Salesman. $3.
Probably. It's like,
Let's see.
it's cheap.
Oh, well, it's got an audio book. Got a lot of good reviews. Oh yeah, it's only $7.49. Fuck yeah. I can get it by tomorrow. More than that shit right now.
Awesome. Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Well, I tell you what, the meditation thing, it's funny that you mentioned brushing your teeth, because I think it was Hugh Jackman that he was talking about meditating. He said a lot of people said they don't have time. And he's like, you would never hear someone say, I don't have time to take a shower. And that's the way meditation needs to be, because I'm the same way. It's really hard for me. And it sounds like our morning starts very similar. I've got my couch here in my office with a stack of books that I read. And then I try to do my mindfulness. And then here's one you will like, Dave. You'll love this. Are you familiar with the 5 Tibetan rites?
No.
All right, my man, you're going to dig it. All right. So there's this guy that in the 30s, he goes over into the Middle East. He's on some exploration or something. It started in the wake up revolution, I think. And then I heard about it from Brian Scott, who wrote The Reality Revolution. And this guy back in the 30s, I guess it was, he comes across these lamas, these monks, not the animals, like Dalai Lama type monks. And
Yeah.
yeah, they're really old, but they're really youthful acting.
Hmm.
And he finds out that they do these 5 Tibetan rites every morning. It's called like this fountain of youth exercise or something. And they're very yoga-like in nature, very quick to do. There's a 6th rite, but that's for them because they were monks, so they had to remain celibate. So the 5 rites are the ones that you focus on. And like you start out with like the whirling dervish is where you spin around, you start out like at 5 or 10, work your way up to like 21 times. And you just look it up, the 5 Tibetan rites. So that's one of the things that I have implemented, and I do
Hmm.
every single morning. And then after you finish, you're supposed to like sit and enjoy the energy. So what I
Uh-huh.
will do is I'll do the 5 Tibetan rites, and then I'll do my mindfulness training or my meditation right after that. So you're kind of sitting and you're basking in the energy that you've got from doing the rites. And it also just loosens your body up. But like you do like one pose, it's like a downward dog and an upward dog. It's basically a salutation type deal. And it just so it warms your whole body up. And there's all this science as to how you're waking your body up. It's pretty
Hmm.
cool. And it's really good it's been good for me to do as kind of like a pre-meditation practice. So
Right.
there you go.
Okay. I'll have to give that a shot tomorrow. Maybe make it the thing I do first thing before my meditation.
I think you'll like it. I think you'll really enjoy it. And it takes, for me, it's become one of those things that for some reason, I grabbed onto it on a very like, I will be in a bad mood if I don't do it. I'll feel like my morning has not been complete, more
Right.
so than my meditation. And I'm much more likely to do my meditation if I've first done the 5 Tibetan rites. So
Gotcha.
there you go. Well,
Well,
Dave,
I'm doing it tomorrow.
well, there you go, man. Well, dude, I've taken up more of your time than
No,
what
you're fine. I always say I like to say 30 because it always depends. Like if I'm hitting it off with the guy or whoever's interviewing me, I'm like, well, if I'm not really feeling it, I mean, like I want to say, hey, it's 30 minutes, I gotta go. But no, it's good vibes. You're a good dude. So yeah,
well,
an hour's fine. An hour's fine.
all right. Well, I'm grateful because there is one more question, because especially now that I totally see that we're in sync and how we think and how we're trying to, again, just simple as it is, better ourselves. Okay, I've got a lot of white space in my day, as do you. So now we've kind of touched on some of your daily practices and habits. A lot of people don't understand how hard it is being a creator, whatever the case may be, where you wake up and if you didn't get out of bed that day, not a lot of people would notice. You really have to make the things happen that you're going to make happen that day. So while we've talked a little bit about some of those disciplines you do every day, what does a day in the life of Dave look like?
Not very exciting. So I'll tell you, basically, I'll tell you this, and this is my day every day, every single day except for maybe Sunday. Sunday I still work, but it's just a quick thing in the morning, and then it's like one of those days where I try to enjoy it. And it's football. I like to watch the Raiders.
Yep.
So, anyways, wake up between 4:30 to before 5. I always make sure it's before 5.
Dude,
So if it's like 4:45 or 4:50, I'm like, okay, I got to get up. Or say it's like I hit snooze and it's 4:56. I'm like, nope, I got to get up. I can't get up after 5. So it's anywhere from 4:30 to 5, but it's been on average around like 4:45.
okay.
Brush my teeth, um, wash my face, depending on if I am going to the gym early or not. Uh, this is a habit I would highly recommend if you haven't got into it, and I love it. It wakes me up. I take a cold shower immediately after I brush my teeth.
Yep.
I just get in, I turn it to as cold as my shower goes, and boom, on my face. There's just for about probably a minute and a half. Oh my God, it's amazing.
It's magical.
It's
Absolutely.
magical. I only take cold showers even after my workout at the gym. I only take cold showers. The only time I take somewhat of a warm shower is when I have to wash my hair, because cold water doesn't work properly. So,
Yep.
but I still end it with cold water.
Yep. Same.
So cold showers. So it's cold shower. Then right after the cold shower, walk out to my living room, turn the coffee machine on, get my shit ready for my meditation. I sit on some pillows, meditate, usually about 20 minutes. Because right after my meditation, I say these affirmations that I say to myself. Then right after that, that's when I go start my coffee. As I'm doing my coffee, I do some morning stretches. The one that I do that is related to I don't know if it's Buddhism or whatever, but actual yoga from Sadhguru that I kind of took was these things where you do this with your wrists, come back in, then you go forward, then you come back. It's supposed to like unlock this energy within your wrists, supposedly.
Okay.
So I made that a habit. That's along with some minor stretches, 70 to 90 push-ups to get the heart flowing just in the morning. Grab my coffee, sit on the couch, read. And as soon as I'm done reading, which is about, I read anywhere from 10 to 20 pages. And then I start my actual working. So that's when I hop on my computer. And if I figured out the video I was going to do the day before, then I start organizing it in Adobe. I chunk it out, I set up every little scene, not including my film stuff yet. So then I have it all set up, ready to go. And as soon as I have that done, then I usually go to the gym, because then it helps me I already have an idea, but then I go to the gym and maybe something comes up that I didn't think of, because, I get a lot of ideas. I don't know about you when I'm at the gym.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I do that. Then I come back, then I film that video, put it out. After that, I reply to comments. And then after that, depending on what I have in terms of like, if I have any videos I'm going to do for brands or whatever, I'll do that immediately. So start working on their videos. If I don't, and it's just me, then I start looking for other video ideas for the next day or the day after and putting those together. And then usually take like a little break, and then I usually will write a little bit, just to I'm trying to build my muscle of writing. Because I want to start writing like a script, and stuff. And it could be writing anything. It could be writing in my journal. It could be writing actual dialogue for a video. It could be just writing. And then usually my shit starts to die. Like, I'm a huge morning person. So my motivation, my willpower, my like that, because I truly believe it too. Like once you like exhausted your tank, and like it's hard to, and I don't want it to affect the quality. So I don't film or put together any videos later in the day, because I know it's not going to be to its full potential if I were to do it in the morning. Because my morning, I'm just like fucking, like I'm ready. Like in the morning, I'm like stoked. Like I feel great. I'm like, let's go. And it just goes downhill from there towards the end of the day. So I try to do the most important things and then gradually go to the stuff that could wait till the end of the day. And then towards the end of the day, I work out twice a day. So then I go to the gym again. Because I feel like for me, I have a very weak mind in terms of like, I can easily get depressed or stressed or shit like that. And so this is the only thing, basically all this combination of stuff, the cold showers, the meditation, the stretching, the working out, sitting in the sauna, the steam room, taking cold showers, that just constantly, and I do this every day, 7 days a week. it just keeps my mind right, and it keeps me feeling good, and it keeps the good juices flowing. And like if I were to take 2 days off from the gym, I would be miserable.
Same. I get
I
it.
would be depressed.
I get it.
And along with eating healthy and stuff like that, it's just everything. So yeah, then after I get done and come back again from the workout, then that's when I'm just like, I have my food or whatever that I'm going to eat at my post workout meal, and then I just chill, probably watch a movie or a show or whatever. But like nothing, like my TV doesn't come on unless it's late and we're going to watch something and we've gotten, shit that we needed to get done.
Right.
But other than that, yeah, it's just, I try to, even if I'm like stressed, like, cause some days I'm like, I'm just staring, cause I'm staring at a computer all fucking day.
Yeah.
And like, I'm in my living room all fucking day.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it could be a bit much where I'm like, it could get lonely, and like, just like sometimes I second guess myself, and sometimes doubt sits in. But like I've come to realize, so as soon as that happens, I'm like, I gotta go to the fucking gym.
Yep.
I gotta get this shit out of my head because it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically my day every day. Nothing really changes other than if I have something else going on, like an appointment, or if I have to make it a priority to work for a brand on a brand video. Other than that, it's literally the mornings are like fucking clockwork. Nothing changes ever.
Yeah. Do you just like get like I don't know about you, but whenever my morning gets fouled up, dude, it is like the world is spinning on a different, it's like wobbly. I mean, it will throw, it happened this week. And I'm so ashamed of how I behave, because I think I've got the mindfulness, I'm all Zen-like and everything is in order. But man, you throw my morning off and I am just get the hell away from it. It's bad. It's really, it really jacks with me. It really does.
See, it used to do that for me until I like, so like when I realize something is going wrong with me, like something like that, like, cause I'm like, that I shouldn't let that affect my whole day. Right.
Yeah.
If I fuck up and ruin my morning or something because of maybe I don't know, I went to bed a little too late last night and now I can't get up as early as I want. I don't let it affect me like I did before. I just made the decision. I'm like, no, fuck it. I'm not going to let it affect me. But I do it in a way where it's like, okay, well, it's making me not feel that good right now. So I'm like, I'm going to the gym.
Smart.
So for me, the gym gets rid of any bad feeling that I'm having.
Yeah.
Like any sort of, whenever I'm working out, the faster, like, especially cardio, like when that heart rate is raising, like I feel like I'm on top of the world. Yeah. I feel like I could do anything. I'm just thinking like, I think about tons of stuff too. Like I think about like none of the shit we're doing really matters in terms of like who we are, like in this universe. We're so small. We mean nothing. Like we're gonna be gone like that. It's like, and who gives a fuck what James thinks? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who cares if somebody left a negative comment? Who cares if blah blah? Just keep doing what you're doing. Have fun while you're doing it, and just try to make the best out of this life and try to be successful. Try to be rich. Fucking just, and who gives a fuck what happens? Just when you're dead, who gives a fuck? No one's gonna care.
Yeah. And
no one really cares. They care about themselves. They don't care about you. So I like working out. Like I think about all that and just fucking, let's fucking go. And then everything's in the past again. So whenever I like that, because the mornings used to affect me if I would skip my reading because I was like, well, I woke up late. I can't read. I gotta get going on the videos. I'm like, nope, I'm going to the gym because that's going to clear my head right away and I'm going to feel good. And then we're just going to get back to it. And tomorrow I'll wake up early and I'll get my reading in. So I've been trying to like not let things like that affect me if I kind of veer off the path.
That's smart, man.
1 or 2 days.
I'm trying to get there. And I mean, I've gotten a little bit better, but still, I have to admit that's a big weakness of mine. And my wife knows that if I don't have my morning routine, if it gets interrupted, I get really foul. But thank you for sharing all that, because here's the deal. You are a successful guy that is successful for being funny. And the listener out there, that is eating poorly, does not exercise, and they're wondering why they're having bad days. I'm talking to a guy that makes his living being funny, showing how hard he works at keeping things in order to keep himself straight between the ears. I try to tell people like that I mean, to the outside world, I'm sure I've got the podcast that says improve all ways and all ways. And I'm writing and I'm trying to pursue, like you, I'm pursuing a podcast and doing and creating all these things. It's work on me every single day, because this world, if you let it, it can be pretty stressful. You can start to take things way too seriously. And then all of a sudden, too, one of the things that sounds like you've realized, that I'm so glad that I realized a number of years ago, this thing we call a mind and our human body is a pretty complex piece of machinery that if you can just figure out a few things, how to optimize the chemical cocktails that we can create in our head on our own without going to the crap that will kill you.
Right.
Like Steve, I don't know if you've read any of Stephen Kotler's books, the rise of, if you haven't, man, go
The Rise, what was it?
The Rise of Superman.
I've read that. That's a good book. I love that. On
Right.
flow. Yeah.
All Stephen Kotler. So that's where I first started learning about this whole neurochemical cocktail that we have in our brains that we can ignite. It's just all, and you see these people just kind of wandering around, shoveling crap in their face, staying up too late. Yeah, it's just, man. So I thank you for sharing those things, because I do think it is so important. Another thing I want to, there's two things I want to commend you on. You said that you actually take the time out of your day to reply to comments. And I can say, as one of your fans, the fact that just that little bit of a touch that you give your fans, that's awesome, dude. And so that's Metallica. Metallica became Metallica because they were on the road like over 300 days a year, being so good to their fans, playing shows that were longer than everybody else's. That's why you're going to, so that discipline, dude, I commend you for that. But then I want to ask you this. And first of all, have you read that article I mentioned earlier, Kevin Kelly's 1,000 True Fans? Have you ever read that article by chance? So he's the founder of Wired Mag. Okay. So let me tell you why I'm bringing this up. One, he's the co-founder of Wired Magazine. He is a polymath. He's a modern day Renaissance man. Kevin Kelly is just a badass. Read his article, 1,000 True Fans. So just kind of pin that mentally. And then secondly, have you thought about where you are now in that you have a massive audience? So what you have built for yourself with no publicist, no big studio behind you, none of the, it's kind of awesome for a guy like me to be talking to someone where you are right now in the stage of this thing this ride you're on, Dave. Do you sit back and think to yourself, what am I going to do with this amazing treasure that you've accumulated? I mean, what is that? When you see those 1.5 million followers, man, I mean, if you played right, and again, read that article, you've made a great living for as long as you want to. If you just continue doing what you want to do, I mean, have you processed that? And have you thought about it from that perspective? And did I even ask that question right? Yeah.
So I look at this as just like the beginning on where I want to take it. Cause right now, like, of course, in the beginning, when I was like, at one point reaching 1 million is crazy, blah, blah, blah. But like, then you start to see and look at the bigger picture of like how much you could actually leverage, these people, the larger you grow, where it's like, for instance, like I've never really saw the appeal of like trying to make it in Hollywood, right? Like going to auditions and like having 3 people decide if you're the right person for this movie, not the market. That's why I love this. It's like the market is deciding.
Exactly.
And so I'm looking at it like for the way bigger picture of like, yeah, it's very exciting where it's like I can see this working in a way where, not only will it help me in terms of like being able to make my own movies and fund them with my audience, like have them, like one crazy idea that I thought of, which would be fantastic, is like creating an NFT with like a movie poster, get a really cool art, selling that and then my audience is basically the investors in my film, and then they collect based on what the film makes. And it's not only exciting for them, they would have probably just pitched in to help with the movie anyway, but now they're actually a part of it. They get some money back, they might even be like an executive producer on the film. Like, so that's very exciting. I think of that all the time, like, to turn this into having a production company and then making my own movies within like the social media realm of like, get the biggest TikTok actors and let's make a movie.
Yeah.
And then we have an audience. We have this 100 million person audience. It's like, who needs a studio? We could do it ourselves. Let's make independent movies, independent films. And like, I see this going in a way where, whatever, the semi-stupid, could create that into something very, very large. It's just like, but right now I'm really trying to just focus on growing and creating good content, because I think that's the most important part right now. And everything else will kind of fall into place if I just keep doing the right things, doing what I'm doing now, and then just seeing where it takes me. And I have faith that it'll, everything will turn out the way I have planned in my mind. That's my goal. But yeah, it's very exciting to think about. Sometimes, I have to I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe I have this many. Sometimes I forget too, and then people will recognize me in public, and I'm like, this is weird.
Okay.
But no, it's very, trust me, I think about the future, like of where this could go all the time. And I just, that's why I don't want to like take any days off of like putting out videos. Cause like I said, who knows when this ends, right?
Yeah.
Who knows when this growth ends? And what if I start putting out videos and I still get views, but maybe I'm not getting any more followers. Like, this is where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So I'd really just want to take advantage of this opportunity and then just see where it goes, and like, hopefully it goes on the path that I'm thinking. Who knows what happens? You never know. 2 years from now, it could be something I never even thought of. But I'm like, cool, this is fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I mean, yeah, I'm just riding that wave right now.
Well, I tell you what, this went like I thought it would, but even better. Just because of hearing the wisdom, man, that you've got. Your success is not by accident. It's not. Yes, you've created some kick-ass content, and everybody notices. Like Dave Grohl says, if you do something well enough for long enough, eventually people will notice and pay you to do it. So there's that. But just all the other things that you're doing, there's a reason why you're seeing this success. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you, and to been able to, like, because I'm on the same journey, just on a different path, trying to make
right.
I wanted to create a platform and a show that like I've got an episode coming out with my personal counselor on forgiveness. I want this to be something that just put something good out there in the world, just and encourage people to realize the power that they have within themselves to do some cool things. And man, you're doing that. You're making people laugh. And then to hear the guy behind the funny that is up at, at least 4:45 every day, reading, practicing mindfulness, eating right, exercising, doing those things to take care of this temple in which we exist in. Dude, there's just so many things that I'm going to replay in my head about this conversation that are going to make me smile, man. And I'm so grateful. Again, to finally meet you in person, man, the guy behind the videos, and just, and one of the things you may have seen in that, guest kit, I'm not a transactional guy. Like, I want you to know that to me, you're kind of in my fold now. If I can ever help you, if I can ever repay this favor, brother, if it's just to, like, when you're in that moment where you're like, you know what, who can I talk to that has no agenda or whatever? I know that dude out in Texas that I was on his podcast, Jason, I'm freaking stuck, man. Whatever I can do to return the favor, brother, I would love to be able to do that someday.
For sure, man. I mean, this has been awesome. Yeah, it's nice to have these conversations, because these are the kind of conversations that I don't ever have, right?
Yeah.
I'm just like I said, my daily routine is this, and that's it. Like my social interaction is very low.
Yeah.
Like I don't go out that much. Like we're going out tonight. It's Taco Tuesday. There's a really cool place called Crackheads. We go there every Tuesday. Fucking awesome.
Nice.
But it's like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't want to look back. I've gotten to a point, and this came from like years of like, and I'm sure you can, relate, is like years of practicing, mindfulness, meditation, working out, trying to better yourself, and realize, you know what, I can't, if I go out and drink tonight, or like, and I don't do that, I don't get drunk anymore. I've realized that hurts me.
Same.
It ruins my next day.
Yep.
And it's like, and I don't want to look back and go, I wish I would have done more, and you hear people say that all the time, and like, it never actually truly hit me until you get to that spot where you're like, yeah, I don't want to do this. And I'm really selfish in terms of like, it could be family. Like, hey, are you going to go to your cousin's? They probably won't watch this until the end. But anyways, like my cousin's having a baby shower like 2 Saturdays from now. And I already know I'm not going to go. Right.
Right. The excuse may not have been revealed yet.
Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's on a Sunday. And it's like, and then I look at it, I'm like, well, okay, first of all, it's on a Sunday. What the fuck are you thinking? The Raiders are playing. I'm not missing that for anybody. And it's like, my days are so packed with doing, that's my day to do my own thing. I'm like, no, I want to do my own thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also I still have to film a video in the morning. And then especially if it was any other day, I'd still be a definite no. Be like, it's a fucking Tuesday. No, I got shit to do.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, I just look at it and I'm like, I'd rather do this than go out and do social things. And I mean, don't get me wrong. So being social and doing that is fun. I like doing fun things, but I don't want to miss this opportunity.
Same. I get it, man. I get it. I say that I say it all the time. Like, this is the payoff. You and I having this conversation. There is no amount of drinking or anything, or any party I could go to that would rival the richness of this conversation. And then 2, being able to put up another episode of the Jason Wright Show with Dave Brubaker, and the guy that I love from Semi Stupid is there. It's just all of it. It's like, no, you're not going to come in and infringe upon that. So I get it, man. I get it.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And most people, most people are not on the same path as you. So you can't hang out with people who you normally used to before you got on this path. Cause it's like, you guys are like different, dude. Like They want to they don't have these ambitions, they have the whole weekend off to do whatever the fuck they want because they have nothing to worry about until they go back to work Monday. Right. It's like, no, dude, I'm fucking constantly thinking about the next video and, what am I going to do next? Like, it's not like Friday hits and I'm like, yeah, let's go have some beers. Saturday, just lounge around and watch TV shows. Fuck no. Like, so days of the week aren't even normal anymore. It's just like, it doesn't matter what day of the week it is anymore.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter unless it's Sunday because it's football season now. But that's basically the only thing that's different now is because it's football season and I watch the Raiders, and I shouldn't because they fucking ruin my day most of the time because they lose.
Well, I knew you were a big fan, but I get that, man. And so it's about having purpose, don't you think? I mean, it's just when you figure out, when you're living life purposefully, like I see so many people that are letting life just happen to them. And they're like, oh, here's some money and give me something to drink, give me something to drive, give me some more clothes. When you find a purpose, that's the cool thing too, man, is I always tell people, give me a black t-shirt, some good coffee, a good book, let me record a podcast or something like that. And I am gold. That's all I need. Yeah. I'm the wealthiest guy in the world. I don't need a bunch of crap. And when I want that for everybody, that's why I hope that the listeners of this conversation, that they, if nothing else, they take that away from us. Like, those dudes are doing something they really love. That's what, to me, that's great. That's wealth in my opinion.
And the thing is too, like the people that'll take, it's nice because this could be that little nudge, It could be the person who they're on that verge of maybe doing, because each person, they have to be ready,
Yeah.
because like if I would have saw something like this 8 years ago or whatever, I wasn't ready. It's something that every person has to like reach on their own. I feel like you can't force it down their throat. You can't preach at them, like, because you just have to want it. You have to want it. Otherwise, it's nothing.
Yeah.
So hopefully the people or somebody who's watching it already wants it.
Yeah.
And then hopefully that can inspire them or spark in them, like, you know what, fuck it. I'm doing it. Because that's all, like, you just got to say that. Once you say that, I feel like it's just so like, oh my God, just like this weight off your shoulder. You're like, fuck it, I'm doing it. I don't give a fuck. You just make up a decision like, I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I don't care if, people are going to laugh, people are going to talk shit, like, because when I was making videos, I was nothing was happening.
Yeah.
I still remember in my head there was a couple, one or two kids the whole time, like, would say, like, why are you still doing this? Like, nobody's even watching, and that hurts, right? When somebody says that.
Sure.
But for me, it hurts, but then it makes me want to prove people wrong.
Yeah.
So nothing, I like when that happens because it does sting. And it's the same with if I see a negative comment. Negative comments I brush off now. I'm over those. But if you're having a weekday, like for me, if I'm having a weekday and say I didn't go to the gym yet, but I am kind of getting down, and then I read a negative comment, they affect me when I'm having my down days. If I'm up, if I'm good, I could read any negative comment. It won't do a fucking thing to me. But if I'm starting to travel down and then I read a negative comment, then it affects me. And I could let it get to me if I wanted, but I'm like, you know what? Fuck, fuck that guy. I'm going to the gym, or like I do whatever to get my mind out. And then I'm like, and then I kind of get back to my own place. And so you just have to, I don't know. I feel like you have to know all of this bad shit's going to happen. All this shit, you just have to know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's simple. Fucking work out all the time. For me, anyways.
Same. I'm with you.
Literally, dude. If you work out all the time and eat healthy and meditate, like, I feel like that will cure everything.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
But it's just a lot of hard work, dude. It's hard to make a habit, and people don't want to do that.
But you're right. It's hard to get started, but then you become like us, and it becomes an addiction that
you get addicted.
You're like, there's no way. I'm like, when you and I get through with this, I'm going downstairs. I'm going to crush, probably a 45-minute ride on my Peloton, and just sweat and feel better. And anything that bad has happened, because I'm going to be on a high after this for a while, so I'm going to ride this as long as I can. But if it were a bad day, it's really quick when those endorphins start just freaking
so fast.
It's
so fast,
that quick.
Yeah.
But most people they won't. They will sit there in the freaking pit and just rehearse the bad shit in their mind over and over and over and over.
And I'm guilty of that too. Don't get me wrong.
Same here.
That's why I know what works for me. And I'm pretty sure it works for everybody, because anybody who ever does it, it works for them.
Yep.
You just have to do it. But yeah, it's just hard. The hardest thing is to make the choice to get out of that and be like, I'm going to the gym, because you don't want to go to the gym when you're feeling like that. You don't want to move. You don't want to do anything. You're fucking depressed. You're like, whatever. But if you just do it, it's a game changer.
Okay. So I've got this is the last thing, last book I will recommend to you. Josh Waitskin, The Art of Learning. So Josh Waitskin was the guy that was the subject for the movie, The Search for Bobby Fischer. He's a polymath. Josh is an absolute genius. He hangs out with Tim Ferriss and all those guys. He's a brilliant, brilliant dude. And one of the things he recommends, and what made him a good chess player, is he says he always tries to do things when he absolutely wants to do it the least. So getting good at working out when you feel the crappiest, getting good at getting up early when you don't want to get up early. That he said that's part of what builds your mind. It fortifies your will to do those things. And it also makes those other times when everything's kind of normal and copacetic much easier, and you have much more impact. Find the times that you don't want to do it. That's when you should absolutely do it the most. And the training in that is phenomenal. So,
and also I feel like when you do start doing the thing that you don't want to do in the time that you don't want to do it, it's almost like you starts to bring you out of the mood, and now you're happy, and you're like, okay, yeah, let's go.
And I have never talking about working out. There has never been a time where I was like, God, it's because I don't do well in that my afternoon workouts, I don't enjoy nearly as much as my morning workouts. I'm the same way, twice a day. And if I've been like a long drive and then I'm going to work out, there has never been a time that I felt worse after the workout than I did before. I've never gotten through it's cardio is what I usually do in the afternoons. I never go, crap, I wish I hadn't done that. No, instead I'm like, I'm
No,
so freaking glad I did that. And I'll be laying in bed going, I'm so glad I did that.
you
It
feel
carried over.
amazing.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's the best.
yeah, yeah. Because that's funny that you said, because I love that saying where I don't. Somebody said, I've never regretted working out.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if anybody has ever said, I regret working out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And
Yeah.
then the last little, we
Wait,
could,
what was the book?
The Art of Learning by Josh,
Learning.
The Art of Learning by Josh Waitskin.
Yeah.
Uh,
An inner journey to optimal performance.
There you go. I think you will
Yeah. Okay.
totally dig that. A lot of good, actionable practices. And Josh is just a kick-ass dude. And if you haven't seen The Search for Bobby Fischer, it'll make you want to watch it because it's about him. And he's a badass. The dude is just a stud.
Okay.
And then there was one more thing. Oh, just kind of what we're talking about that I think that we both totally are in sync on is I came to this conclusion. I want to put this in a book or an article or something. I always tell people there is no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. The only gold is that which we pick up along the way. And I feel my heart hurts for the people that one day, if you're fortunate enough to live to 85, 90 years old and you're lying there and you look and your pot is just freaking empty and there is no longer the ability to fill it up because that's all you're going to do. And doing stuff like this, taking the shot with semi-stupid, taking the shot with making the videos, taking the shot with starting a podcast, taking the shot. Those are the things I will never regret because I'm going to look in my pot and those are going to be little pieces of gold stacked upon each other that will be the gold. It's not
Yeah.
going to be some big payday, the ship coming. And my heart hurts, Dave, for those people that they think that it's going to just somehow happen. And then one day, man, we're all going to be in this position where that's it. I mean, yeah, I want to be active whenever I'm 85, 90, but the bottom line is the biology just says, no, you're not going to be able to go down and crush the pull-ups when you're 90 that you're going to go down and
Right. Right.
it's not going to happen. So that's one of the things I try to convey to people, man. And just to meet that kindred spirit, somebody who gets that. Cause it's hard sometimes to relate to other people that aren't on the path like we are, that are just kind of just fumbling through life and hoping stuff works out. I love them. They're friends, they're family, but to meet someone else that's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? We got another day. We got another day to do some stuff.
Yeah.
That's just so freaking awesome, man. So that's kind of, that's the way I feel about this conversation.
No, I agree, man.
So,
yeah.
All right,
Because
dude.
I'm not going to be able to do this forever, and neither will you.
No, but
so we definitely have to take advantage of it while we can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, all right. So, all right. Well, I guess I'll be a temporary Raiders fan. I'm pulling for the Raiders for you, brother.
Do you have a team?
So I really don't. Okay, you're gonna hate me, man. This is because I can't be a Cowboys fan. It's just too painful. I mean, I'm in Tyler, Texas. I'm a 5th generation Texan. Okay, so I should be a Cowboys fan, but that's just too painful. It just hurts too bad because they're gonna let us down every time. So I am, and this is so bad, I'm a Tom Brady fan. So wherever Tom Brady is, I know.
You're right. I fucking hate you.
I know. I knew that would ruin our relationship. It was going so well until then. But so wherever Tom Brady is, that's where I'm more, so I was a Patriots fan, but now I guess I'm sort of a Buccaneers fan. But
So you're not a fan. You're not a football you don't have a team. You're just a fan of players. So you're a fan of Tom Brady.
I'm a fan of Tom Brady. But I like the game.
I root for him to lose every fucking game.
Yeah. So it depends. It's weird. I will now because I kind of like the Chiefs just because Patrick Mahomes is from here. I mean, I hate
the Chiefs.
Yeah. I like Patrick Mahomes just because I got to pull for a hometown boy. But that's it. So I'll be a Raiders fan. I'll adopt the Raiders just because I don't give a shit. And it's
no.
You're not taking me.
That's not that easy, bro. We don't take you. Stick with Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. Go fuck yourself.
Fair enough. I'm glad we're ending on a high note, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, I just want to tell you, man, this has been so fun. I appreciate it. I hope you keep
This was
crushing
good.
it. Again, if I can ever return the favor, I'm there, man. I want to keep
Well,
pulling.
if you ever make it out to San Diego, let me know. We'll have to definitely meet up.
Well, my daughter and her boyfriend are out there. My daughter's leaving the day after Thanksgiving. Take her to the airport. Her boyfriend's out there, so she will actually.
Where?
La Jolla. They're gonna be in La Jolla.
Oh fuck! I love La Jolla. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's 20 minutes for me.
Yeah. So she's headed that way. So maybe I'll go out there with her sometime. And I absolutely do. We got to go to the Gaslight District, crush a good meal or something.
For sure.
So
and so when is this going to be out so I can let my audience know?
So I've got a big this one's going to have to get moved up. I've got like 8 that I haven't launched.
Oh damn.
Let's say I've got one I have to do next week.
Well, actually, why don't you just
I'm going to ping you.
Like when you know.
Oh yeah.
Then I can just let them know, like,
absolutely, man.
Hey, check this out. Yeah. So.
And I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that. But yeah, no, you'll definitely know because I'll be blowing it up, man. Again, I'm your biggest fan.
Thanks, bro.
But not in a weird way. So
yeah. I mean, it's cool.
All right. Well, hey,
it's cool if you're weird.
I'm gonna do like a quick sign off for the YouTubes, and then I'll come back and say goodbye appropriately. So sit tight.
Okay. All right.
All right, so there you go. I've told you guys for a long time, I am Dave Brubaker and Semi Stupid's biggest fan. So if you're watching on the YouTube channel, you're welcome. Please hit subscribe. And also, if you're listening to this on iTunes, if you would please leave a 5-star rating. And remember, no matter what you do, like Dave and I have covered ad nauseum today, always endeavor to improve always in all ways because we've only got one shot at this. Make it worth it. I'm Jason Wright, and I am out. Thanks for listening.